The Last of Us already jumped the shark in the first season with that whole gay episode where you were forced to watch dudes kissing. But for some reason, they found a way to jump the shark all over again with what is being called the wokest episode in television history. I'm not sure if it takes the cake, but this is episode 4 of the second season, in which Ellie is now on her revenge arc. She is on a mission to track down Abby and avenge the death of her father figure, Joel. And she is also now, after a time jump, in an adult romantic relationship with another woman who is named Dina in the show. And in this particular scene, she finds out that Dina, her girlfriend, is pregnant from a character that was shown earlier in the season. And the way that this version of Ellie responds compared to the video game shocked many people. Let's just take a look.
So we're having a baby. I mean, we, and also, I guess, Jesse here.
She still looks 12 and sounds 12, by the way.
It was Jesse, right?
I mean, they both look 12.
Her more so, though.
So we're all having a baby. Holy shit. I'm gonna be a dad.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is getting spread all over X.
If I, not to be the friend that's too woke, but I think the other person's reaction was worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually worse.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was maybe a worse delivery than the I'm gonna be a dad line.
Okay. Armchair expert here.
Let's hear it.
No music, no swelling sound, no just nothing.
It's supposed to be, in this post-apocalyptic setting that's barren and a wasteland. And
okay, then give me some barren wasteland music that gives way to some string instruments.
You know what? I agree, because in that awful episode of season 1 with the gay dudes, which was also retconned completely, not in the video game at all. They did this insane, emotional soundtrack to try to draw the viewer into the story.
Doesn't that make sense?
Get you invested. It didn't work. It just made me feel nauseous. But at least they tried with that one. I agree with you. The lack of music in this scene is definitely noticeable. And also, you find in this episode, they include a lot of gay pride flags and a pride mural. This is post-apocalypse, by the way. There's just gay flags everywhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, one
even though in the game the world ended in 2007.
So the idea that type of modern luxury belief system or modern luxury ideology would persist into the end of the world is a bit silly. Yeah. When everybody's just struggling to survive, it's less about your identity and a hell of a lot more about where you're going to get food that night and how you're going to protect yourself from the cordyceps.
The gay flags and the gay mural that are shown in the TV show are shown as things that were already there before the world collapsed. Which isn't true, because in the story of the video game, the world ended in 2007 when that stuff wasn't publicly shoved in all of our faces. Yeah. So, yeah, Bella Ramsey in real life identifies as non-binary. However, she is playing a woman in the show and bizarrely says in this scene that she's gonna be a dad. I have no idea what that means. She's not a man, so she is not capable of ever being a father.
Look, I've been reliably told that being a man is supposedly a spectrum, just like gender and...
Well, I guess also fatherhood is a spectrum.
Fatherhood is
right?
a spectrum, right? Maybe your dad's there. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. It's a spectrum.
I mean...
He goes out for milk and cigarettes. He might come back. He might not. It's a spectrum.
A lot of people do notice that in gay relationships, there tends to be one who fits more into the man role and another who fits more into the woman role.
Okay.
And perhaps they're trying to show that Ellie is the man in the relationship between her and Dina. Yep. And I've similarly heard gay men in real life, you know, talking about starting a family, and one of them says, "I can't wait to be a mom." They say these things in real life, so maybe this is just reflecting the world we live in, even though it's in a show about a zombie apocalypse.
I mean, it's
Whatever.
also I've read more than a few think pieces about the idea of making characters in post-apocalyptic stories LGBTQ as weirdly anti-human, because it means that the person who's going to save the world can't even reproduce to help carry on existence.
Yeah. Even though she has a genetic mutation that would save humanity if she reproduced and had a family.
But if I'm being honest,
Whatever.
like one of the most hilarious ways, if you wanted to introduce true modernity and narcissism into this type of story, would be the last woman on Earth being told, like, you can save the world, all you have to do is have a child, and her being like, you know what? I don't want to.
Well, she would be like,
you can't tell me what to do.
I can't bring children into a world like this.
Yeah, and then they're like, but that means that the world's gonna end. Well, maybe it should, Kyle.
This scene not only does not comport with reality, because Ellie is a woman, so she can't be a dad, but it doesn't even match up to the slightest degree with the plot line that it's based on from the video game.
Yep.
And I wanted to show what happened in the video game when Ellie finds out that Dina is pregnant. She has a vastly different reaction to that news.
What are we supposed to do now? I'm sorry. How long have you known? Well, a few weeks. We could have still turned back. I didn't know. I wasn't sure, okay? I didn't want to be a bird. Well, you're a bird now, aren't you?
So she reacts by telling Dina that she's become a burden, and she's angry at finding out that she is with child. Completely the opposite, but the showrunners just decided to completely rewrite it.
I think they just knew that nobody was going to care and see. I should actually, you know what? Never mind.
What do you mean?
I was going to say nobody was going to be watching in season 2. It is like the #1 rated show on TV right now. Now people are watching. People are watching. I'm not going to misrepresent that. There are people watching, but it has jumped the shark. The proverbial shark.
It already did with episode 3 in the whole series, and I don't understand how people are still.
If I'm being honest, the episode 7 one was worse in the mall. That one felt like an even bigger, because okay, so in episode 3, you're only 2 episodes in and you're getting your bearings for what the pace of the show is going to be. It can be forgiven to say like people will put up with that more in an earlier episode because there's no length of episodes before it to compare it to. Like once you get past episode 5, now you're in the because remember it was only 8 episodes long, so you're in the thick of things right now. You don't know what the pacing is going to be when you're in those first couple of episodes. Still, it would have been better to not do something like that at all, or at least find a way to more artfully incorporate it into the actual story, so it didn't feel like everything came to a standstill. But doing it in episode 7, and if I'm remembering correctly, the mall episode was episode 7, felt like it once again brought everything to a screeching halt. That can work when you're doing network television and you run out of money and you have to do a bottle episode and you have to bring everything to a grinding halt. When you've only got 8 episodes to get everything done, you should have no wasted space.
Maybe they got to pay Pedro Pascal less if they included less of him in the show.
I wonder, is he a producer? I bet he's a producer on this show. I wonder if I bet you he is.
He's already gone.
It doesn't mean he's not a producer.
As a producer, but yeah. And in real life, Bella Ramsey continues spiraling. Now it seems she's rethinking what she originally said about making award shows gender neutral. Bella Ramsey now says in a recent interview that it's important to keep gendered awards. And here was her full comment. I don't have the answer, and I wish that there was something that was an easy way around it. But I think that it is really important that we have a female category and a male category, noting that it's important that recognition for women in the industry is preserved. Bella Ramsey tried to come up with a solution and thought about a category such as best performance in a female character, but realized that would then create problems for actors playing non-binary characters in film and TV. Even though Ramsey does not identify as female and says being labeled an actress doesn't feel right, They are comfortable being put in the actress category at the Emmys for The Last of Us.
I mean, to be fair, like, female actors have rejected the term actress for a long time.
Before the non-binary
long
craze
before
ever
that,
started.
they wouldn't refer to themselves as an actress. They would refer to themselves as an actor and used it as a gender-neutral term.
Yeah, but I feel like that just means a feminized term is seen as inherently demeaning, which is more demeaning to women than anything. Yep. The implication. Bella Ramsey said, I have a guttural, that's not quite right instinct to being called an actress, but I just don't take it too seriously. It doesn't feel like an attack on my identity.
I mean, the problem is they spend too much time thinking about this stuff. There was like,
she
I don't know
also
if it was this
explained
interview.
that she isn't non-binary to be trendy, but because she grew up more as a little boy than a little girl. It's been very obvious since I was young. I always called myself a tomboy, but it wasn't that I was a boyish girl. I was always a bit of an in-between, leaning to most of the boys' side.
But what does that mean, though? If you've never actually been a biological male, you don't know what that means.
I always felt more masculine or more on that side of the spectrum.
What does that mean?
I guess at the moment I don't feel like I have access to femininity. This just sounds like you have serious, deep-seated, unresolved issues from your upbringing. If you are that alienated from the core of your identity as a woman that you feel you have no access to it, something deeply traumatic must have happened to you. Like, that sounds like a whole boatload of red flags. And the fact that people take that for its face value and then celebrate it and tell her that she's living her true self, that's very worrying.
Mary, this happens to me all the time. Every time I watch an episode of Pretty Little Liars, I'm like, damn it, am I a girl?
Yeah, I think you might be like leaning into the feminine side of the spectrum.
Like, that's like
everything Phil was saying yesterday. A woman is never going to know what it feels like to be a man. A man is never going to know what it feels like to be a woman. That's just actually impossible.
It just seems like there's an unhealthy level of narcissism and
the self-exploration of it all.
Self-obsession. Like
the
constant
gazing.
Need to look inward and gleefully overanalyze every aspect of your personality. Whereas most of the time, you're going to have a range of personality types, and quirks that could be labeled whatever somebody might want to label it. Like, you can be a woman who likes to work on cars, or you can be a dude. What is something that dude like?
A dude who wears makeup.
Yeah, I guess. But I always joke, like, whenever they talk about we need more women in this industry, I'm like, did they ever say like we need more men in Sephora? Like, I don't think anybody's ever.
Yeah, they do. Are you kidding? Yes, they do.
Oh, do they?
That already happened. You go to any Sephora, there are men working there.
Okay.
Wearing makeup.
I don't go to Sephora, so the point being is that, who you are is a lot deeper than the categorization that you've come up for yourself and whatever weird label that you've given to your personality type.
I'm gonna be real. I don't want more female power line workers, and I don't want more male kindergarten teachers. Let people do what they naturally are inclined to do and stop making everything more confusing than it needs to be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so what I was kind of trying to say when I said that was like, you can have those range of personality types, but if you don't have like the inner knowledge that you are a guy or a girl, if there isn't that solid footing of who you are underneath, then that just makes you ripe for, first of all, overanalyzing yourself, and then without the ability to label yourself correctly, kind of driving you a little nuts.
Yeah, definitely.
Seems lame.
You can just kind of explore your identity until you lose your marbles. Yeah. That's what's happened to Bella Ramsey and many others.
I mean, in Hollywood, they have the luxury of those beliefs because, first of all, it helps them with work, And second of all, they live in a life of extreme privilege, which gives them the time to worry about such nonsense. The average everyday person who has to worry about going to work, paying the bills, and living their life do not have such luxuries.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.